In the final part of our Scoreboard app project, we're going to do a little formatting to our app name and the way that it appears on our screen in terms of changing both the color and adding a little bit of extra spacing after that app name to move it further away from the Team 1 section. So if we look at our app preview right now, we see we've got our app name Scoreboard up at the top, but it's the same color as Team 1, so it kind of blends right into that Team 1 section. Changing that color would really help to make that app name pop a little bit on the screen, and adding in a little extra spacing in between our app name and Team 1 would also help to make this look more visually balanced since everything else is spaced really nicely on the screen. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump into our code and start working on those two problems. Go ahead and close up your app preview, and let's look in our code and find the section where we have the name of our app. So in line 12, I can see the comment that the next chunk of code is the name of the app, text, Scoreboard, and Scoreboard is in quotation marks because that is text, it's a string, so we need to have that inside quotation marks. Then we have some modifiers that are formatting our app name, making it a larger title-sized font, and making it bold. Let's tap right behind line 16 in our code, right behind that closing parenthesis, and go ahead and tap return. Let's add in a comment here in our code. So we need 2 backslashes. And our comment is going to be this next section of code is going to control the ink color for Scoreboard, the name of our app. Go ahead and tap return at the end of line 17. And let's start typing that code in. So again, we're modifying or formatting Scoreboard, that text. So let's start with a period, and then we're going to start typing in foreground style. And we want the option that is foreground style. So when you see that pop up on your code snippets, as long as it's highlighted, go ahead and tap on return. And you'll see an error message pop up for your code. That's okay, go ahead and ignore it for right now. We just need to tell Swift what style we want for our foreground style. Tap inside of those parentheses right on style, shape style, and let's change that. Go ahead and type a period, and let's make that ink color blue. When you see blue pop up on your code snippets, go ahead and tap return. And our error message will resolve itself. Let's go ahead and tap on the app preview. Check it out. All right, now Scoreboard is nice bright blue, different color than Team 1's ink color, so that really pops on the screen and helps us to visually separate those two. Awesome, let's go ahead and add some spacing in between Scoreboard and Team 1. So go ahead and close up your app preview. Line 19 is the end of our vertical stack that is holding our app name Scoreboard. So let's tap right behind that curly brace in line 19 and go ahead and tap return. Let's add a comment right here. So 2 backslashes for our comment, and we're going to add some extra space right here in our code. Once you finish your comment, go ahead and tap return at the end of line 20. And to add that extra space, you're going to type period and then padding. Once you see padding pop up on your code snippets, you can go ahead and highlight that and tap return. And now if we tap on our app preview, we'll notice that we've got a nice amount of space in between Scoreboard and Team 1. That looks a lot more balanced than it did before. You might want to experiment with adding a little extra spacing between the name of the app Scoreboard and that Team 1 section. To do that, you're going to tap in your code in line 21 and that padding code that you just added, tap right between that opening parentheses and the closed parentheses. And let's add a number in there. Let's add 50. That looks pretty nice on the screen. Gives it a little bit more spacing and looks pretty balanced on the screen as well. You can try experimenting with different numbers to add a little bit more spacing. So instead of 50, maybe you want to replace that with 60. You notice it expanded the space just slightly, moved Team 1 section down a little bit more. We still have a nice amount of space at the bottom of our app preview screen, so that looks pretty good. We might even try 75 in there. For our padding, that still looks pretty nice. It's moved our buttons down again a little bit lower in the app preview screen, maybe a little bit closer for our thumb to be able to tap all those buttons. What if we change that 75 to 100? Oops, look what happened. Now we have so much padding that it's pushed our buttons all the way down to the bottom edge of the app preview screen. That doesn't look balanced, and it's added some extra padding along the sides of our app name as well. So it's kind of breaking or hyphenating our app name on the screen now. That doesn't look good. So again, let's decide on a number: 50, 60, 75. Try one of those out and see what you think looks the best. I think maybe I like 60. You can experiment with the amount of spacing that you think looks best. And with those few extra lines of code, we really kind of wrapped up our Scoreboard app. Now our app name stands out on the screen. It's separated a bit more from that Team 1 section of the app. And it really looks well balanced in terms of the amount of spacing that we have between things on our screen, which will hopefully help our users to be able to easily reach those buttons to keep track of the score with their thumbs.